We're back with our Green Party Town Hall. Dr. Jill Stein will now take your questions on personal freedoms and hot-button social issues. Immigration, for example.
What is your stance on immigration? Would you build a wall as well?
And what will you do to help open up our borders and make the freedom of flow a little easier?
So two opposites, open borders, build a wall.
Well, first let me say I think we need to demilitarize our borders.
So take away the border guards?
Well, certainly take away their guns, and I do not believe we need a wall.
Border guards without guns? I mean, some people want to kill us. What would the border guards do without guns?
Well, do we have guns in Canada? You know, do we have guns on the Canadian border?
Yeah.
Well, not many. If people think we have an immigration crisis, which in fact we do, I think the most important thing is for us to stop causing that crisis in the first place. NAFTA caused that crisis by putting millions of farmers out of work south of the border, forcing people to come here as economic refugees. The war on drugs has killed 100,000 people in Mexico alone in the last 6 or 7 years. That's a big problem. We need to end the war on drugs. What we really need to do is stop invading and destabilizing other countries.
On Facebook, Dan Wagoner posted, what is your stand on late-term abortion?
I think that abortion, well, put it this way, I never had one, but I do believe in individual choice. This is not where government needs to get into your living room or your bedroom and make these decisions for you.
Even late term, you're a doctor. I mean, most states have some restriction.
I think women and their health care providers are capable of making these decisions on their own behalf.
Even at 8 months.
Again, I think women can make these decisions, but let me say I think the most important thing here is for us to have full reproductive health care, and that includes family planning.
Audience, you have questions? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Dr. Stein.
Hi.
I'm a psychotherapist, and I'm just wondering how you would go about improving the mental health services of this country.
This is, again, why we need improved Medicare for all so that we are covered head to toe, cradle to grave, mental health, physical health, reproductive health, your hearing aid. It's all covered. For the same amount of money that we're paying right now, we could be fully covered.
It sounds like magic.
Well, it's the magic of getting corporations out of the business of writing our health care policy. That's the magic.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Dr. Stein.
Hi.
My question has to do with, will the president be able to hold the police a bit more accountable for how they're dealing with the civilians?
Thank you, and thanks for raising that issue, because that's really a critical problem right now. There have been something like 600 or 700 deaths at the hands of police this year alone. It's really reached crisis proportions. So we need accountability. We also, in my view, we need to demilitarize how police are working. That doesn't mean we're taking away their guns, but it means we are training people in de-escalation techniques, and that we're not bringing in the big tanks and the machine guns to equip our police to do community-based policing. And it means we need to have communities in charge of their police instead of police in charge of the communities, which is the way it works in very poor and oppressed communities. That means civilian review boards, and it means independent investigators, so that you don't need an act of God from Washington, D.C. in order to find out what happened, so that we are investigating as a matter of routine any death at police hands. The victims and the families deserve accountability. They deserve to know what went on.
A quick lightning round, which just means yes or no answers,
Yes.
and we'll maybe can cover a few more things. So, would you legalize marijuana?
Absolutely.
Other drugs, cocaine, heroin?
We'll start with marijuana, but we will treat all substance use as a health problem, not a criminal problem.
Would you legalize gambling?
I would allow communities to make that decision because communities pay a big price.
What
So
about, would you
communities
legalize
decide.
sex work, prostitution?
I do not have a straightforward policy on that now. It's being debated in the Green Party right now, so stay tuned.
Would you legalize assisted suicide?
We don't need to prolong inevitable and painful death. We don't do that to our dogs. Do people deserve less?